Hello, welcome to Clash of the Rams, the sports talk show. I'm your host, Jeremy Hayes. And along with me, we got Ryan Chevy Chevalier.
Someone else was on a show for me last week. I feel like a replacement referee.
Daveson Perez.
How about them Jets?
Eric Russo. And Ashley Cascio.
Hi.
Okay, we're going to jump into our top story right now, which is the NFL. And sadly, the Patriots lost to the Seattle Seahawks yesterday in a big upset. So what are your thoughts on that game and any other thoughts in the NFL, Ryan?
Well, I feel that the Patriots threw the ball way too much. Brady threw 58 passes in the game. Ridley only had 16 carries. I just feel like they should become more of a grounded offense. They had the lead early on, and they should have ran the clock down. I always feel this with the Patriots. They're always trying to put points on the board, but if we become more of a time-oriented team, we can actually win more games.
All right, Daveson?
Yeah, Brady definitely threw the ball a lot more this game. What I feel like the Patriots game reflected was that good defense is what wins you games in this league. And the fact that the Seattle Seahawks played good enough defense to win them the game is what really came out to be the ultimate result of the game, because the Patriots secondary obviously allowed Sidney Rice to score that game-winning touchdown, and we can't have that. We just need to improve on our defense, and we should be fine.
All right, Eric?
Yeah, I think the big thing I took away from yesterday is that the Patriots are now a team that cannot close out a win. I mean, starting the Super Bowl last year, they can't complete the pass to Welker. They can't run out the clock. They lose. They lose to Arizona in the same way. They lose to Baltimore when they can't close out a game. Yesterday, the same thing. They had multiple chances in the fourth quarter to run out the clock, and they can't do it. They can't get that one first down that they need. They can't get, Brady can't hook up with a receiver when he needs it. They can't run for a first down when they need it. And then at the end of the first half, they totally mismanaged the clock. They had 20-something seconds left. They threw to Gronkowski, I think. Instead of taking a timeout, they wasted 20 seconds. Now you have 12 seconds left. Brady threw the intentional grounding, runs out the clock, and they can't even get points out of it. So just total mismanagement by the Patriots yesterday, and a team that can't run out the clock anymore.
So real quick, are you saying that they lost their touch of clutch, you know what I mean?
They lost that killer instinct
Yeah.
to close out games and put a dagger in teams. They just all of a sudden struggle in the fourth quarter to put games away.
All right, Ashley?
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I don't think they can close out a game like they used to. And it's also shocking because, Tom Brady was playing against a rookie quarterback. It's his sixth time playing in the NFL. And it's just, for him to throw two interceptions in the red zone is just not like him. And now New England's 3-3, along with the Jets, Bills, and Dolphins. Like, really? It's just shocking to me. So I think, they're flying back home with more questions than answers. But I think next weekend they're going to come out really strong because now they're angry at themselves.
All right, and that wasn't the only upset from yesterday. We have the Giants beating the 49ers, and we have the Texans losing. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on any of the other games, guys?
The Giants versus 49ers was unreal. I think, they were both in the NFC finals last year, and the Giants won. And the 49ers, before the game, were coming up with so much hype. And, they wanted revenge on the Giants. And everyone thought that the 49ers were going to, come out strong towards Giants. But the Giants just completely took over the game. Smith, quarterback of 49ers, did not play like himself. He had 3 interceptions. He hasn't had more than 1 interception in 2 years. He got sacked 6 times. The Giants came into that game with just 3 sacks so far this season. Their rush defense on 49ers is supposed to be one of the best in the league. And for Bradshaw to, have 120 some odd yards on them is unreal. And I'm happy because I could, Eli finally showed that, he's not just Peyton's little brother, and every season I think he shows more and more of that.
Well, any other thoughts, Daveson?
My opinion is going to be about the Jets game and how terribly they played. I mean, it's just Mark Sanchez only had 82 yards passing, and it's just the only reason why they won that game is because of the sensational performance by Sean Green, and it's just you know, just
Well, we have to move on to the next segment, but yeah, it's definitely the NFL is getting pretty interesting going into the season when you have teams who should be winning being 500. All right, but our next topic is about the MLB playoffs. We're in the ALCS and the NLCS. So what are your thoughts so far about the games? They're only 2 games into one and 1 in the other. So any thoughts so far, Ashley?
I mean, clearly the Yankees are struggling greatly. They've lost 2 games against the Tigers. And, you know, they just need to not play like they used to. They can't rely on scoring home runs because obviously they're not. They need to, you know, manufacture runs by playing like small ball. They need to bunt. They need to steal bases. They need to just change the way they play. Their top players are struggling. It's unbelievable. Cano, who's arguably the best player on the Yankees, has 0 out of his last 26 runs. Like, he's playing off on Rodriguez. Like, they're all not coming up to play, so they just need to change their way of their game.
Seriously, like, Rodriguez, I mean, come on. Derek Jeter's hurt. Why couldn't Alex Rodriguez be hurt? Like, honestly, with the way that Alex has been playing, like, you kind of want him to be injured. Not to wish injury on anybody, but why did it have to be Derek Jeter, the captain? Right. Like, the guy's supposed to lead them.
Because he's 35 years old, and when he rolls an ankle, it breaks now.
But he has their best batting average, so he's missed for the Yankees.
Now they're missing him for the rest of the playoffs, and what does that mean for their playoff chances? I mean, we're used to the Yankees being this powerhouse, like you said, the Alex Rodriguez, Cano, Swisher, these are their top guys. These are their Granderson. These are their top guys, and the Yankees are at their best when Granderson and when Alex Rodriguez, they're all hitting home runs and manufacturing runs for them. That's when they're at their best to win.
Well, just to say real quick that Derek Jeter, though, he isn't the Yankee he used to be. I mean, it was a loss. But
are you sure about that?
He was
because
1
he had
for 6 in that game. He has a chemistry he brings to the team. He's you know, the leader of Yankees, and definitely need him. But it's just that his hitting and his defense is always needed, but his hitting has definitely decreased through the years.
I understand that, but he's coming off one of his best years by far, and he's just he's a veteran, so he can turn it on and off. Like, he'll have a bad stretch of games, of course, but he's a veteran. He's been here before plenty of times. He can get it done. And unlike Alex Rodriguez, who that 1 year that he in 2009 where he was actually good, and now every other playoff game it's like he's striking out 18 times and not even producing, like relying on Cano, the younger guys, when you're supposed to be the veteran on the team. You're supposed to be right next to Derek Jeter, setting the example and leading your team to victory when it's not the case now.
I'm going to take issue with what Ryan said, because Derek Jeter was the leading hitter for the Yankees before he got hurt. But I've been saying for 3 or 4 years now that I thought their age was going to catch up to them, and I think this is the point now where we're seeing the Yankees kind of fall into their demise a little bit. We saw Mariano Rivera get hurt earlier in the year. Now Jeter's out. A-Rod, we've seen what happened to him. We're going to talk about him a little bit later. But and like the guy said, Granderson and Cano all of a sudden can't hit either. So I think we're finally starting to see that downside of the Yankees that I thought we would see a few years ago. But it's finally coming through, and in a bad time, right in the middle of the playoffs.
You know,
just to touch upon it, also the Cardinals, they're on fire. They're almost the opposite of Yankees right now, and the Cardinals are playing extremely well. They always get the momentum going, and you can't put them away almost. And they look like they're going to beat the Giants and go on to a World Series.
All right, real quick,
just to build off what he said, in terms of the Cardinals and the San Francisco series, I think it reflects the overall theme of who's going to win the World Series based on the fact that bullpen is going to be such a big factor. The San Francisco Giants have a stellar bullpen as well as the Cardinals. So whoever meets in the World Series, I believe, pitching is going to be a big part of that, I feel.
All right, well, we got to move on to our next topic, but who would have predicted that the Cardinals would have a chance to go to the World Series? Oh, wait a minute. Last year, yeah, that's right. Oh, that'll be interesting if that happens. All right.
Nostradamus here.
Yeah. But all right, we're gonna move on to our game time segment now, which is called Yay or Nay. Now, basically, what this game is, I'm gonna say a statement, and they either agree or disagree with it, yay or nay. So I'm gonna start off with you two. All right. So the statement is, Jared Sullinger is a starter for the Boston Celtics.
I'm gonna start by saying absolutely not. He's not a starter. He's just a rookie. He just came from college. They just picked him up. I mean, granted, he's had a couple good games now in the preseason, but Brett, you can't substitute Brandon Bass, a guy who's one of the main components for them even reaching the playoffs and even standing a chance against the Heat by having that body on LeBron James. And Brandon Bass has shown, and he has shown that he deserves to be the starter for this team. And I feel that if they open the season up with a healthy Avery Bradley, depending if he recuperates or not, Brandon Bass, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Rondo, I think that's a formidable starting five for the team, and I think they will come out the gate winning a lot of games.
So yay or nay?
So yeah. I mean, nay.
I want to call you out on that, but go ahead.
Oh, did I say nay?
You didn't say anything, so I just wanted to make sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right, go
Well,
ahead.
I'd just say nay because Brandon Bass has been a great player for the Celtics. He averaged quite a few points. He takes questionable shots sometimes, but I'll say down the line, Sullinger, can replace him, and he'll be a good player for the future for the Celtics.
But for now,
Bass has been doing a solid job. Keep him in.
Definitely.
All right, we're gonna move on to our next question, which is over here. So guys, it's a simple one. Yay or nay? A-Rod is done.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to say nay. Yes, he's played awful in the postseason. He's not the same player he used to be. But he's not going to be the guy who could score 40 home runs and drive in over 125 runs anymore. He's just not. But I think if A-Rod changes the way he swings the bat, and he can be okay. He has one of the best hitting coaches in the league. The Yankees have Kevin Long, who can easily help A-Rod become that guy. He's not going to be a power hitter anymore. He has to be more of a hitter like Derek Jeter, and I think he'll be okay. Is he going to be great in the next 5 years? No. But I think the next couple of years, if he gets healthy, we have to remember he's had many injuries. He was out 40 games this year, out 60 games the year before. I think he will be okay. And I know you all disagree with me, but I can guarantee if he puts in the time and effort, he can change. He'll be a different Alex Rodriguez, but he still will be successful.
I feel bad that the Yankees have 5 more years of him.
So nay?
Yeah, nay for me. Starting in 2009, awful coincidence that he got caught for steroids in 2009. And ever since then, he hasn't been quite the same guy. So I don't know if there's a coincidence there or not. But the last 2 years, 16 and 18 home runs. Not A-Rod. Obviously, he's been hurt, but that's who he is now. He's like Jeter. He's getting older. He's breaking down. He doesn't have steroids to help him out anymore. So it's tough for him. It's tough for him to be that guy that we all look to have a 40 home run season. He's not going to be that guy anymore.
All right, we're going to move on to the next question. Let's pick up the pace a little bit on the answers, guys. But all right, so you guys, your next question is NFL, yay or nay? I almost asked a question. It's a statement. It is Tebow time. Yay or nay?
I'm going to say yay. And I'm going to tell you why. Like I said earlier, Mark Sanchez only threw for 82 yards passing last game. And granted, they won 36-9 against the Indianapolis Colts, but they let Tebow in that game. And the one pass that Tebow threw was 22 yards. So try to multiply that into let's say 20 passing attempts. You never know. He could 22 times.
20 for 20.
Multiply 22 times 20. That's 220 passing yards. So give him a shot.
All right, yay or nay?
I'm going to say nay, and then I'm going to give a hooray because Tebow he's not like Sanchez right now. They just renewed his contract recently, so you're just giving up too much. And he won the game yesterday, Sanchez, and he wasn't needed as much because the running game was so good. They're 3-3. You don't need to panic right now. But yeah, they're probably not going to make playoffs. So then get Tebow sometime.
So the running game won, not Sanchez.
Running game basically went from yesterday.
There
yeah.
you go.
All right. So next question is NHL, which is you two. And what it is, the statement is there will be NHL hockey this season. Eric?
I'm going yay. I've been encouraged the last week or so. They haven't really talked about the core economic issue, but they've been talking. So I think that's an encouraging sign. I don't think it's going to be soon. I think we're looking at January 1st as a deadline. I don't think Gary Bettman wants to lose the Winter Classic because they built a lot of momentum off that game. So I think that's the deadline for them, and I think that they're going to talk tomorrow, I believe. So I think with them getting together a lot more over the last week or so, they're building to resolution soon.
All right,
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say nay because they're not even close to coming to an agreement. The Players Union and the NHL are arguing about two different things. The NHL, this is about the big market teams and the small market teams, and the big markets not wanting to trickle down the money of the small market teams to help the small market teams last in the NHL. So the NHL wants the players to cut the hockey-related revenues from the players, but in the last CBA in 2005, they already made such concessions to players, so they're getting around 57% now. The NHL wants the players to cut down to 47% to help out these teams. But why would they make these huge concessions when they already did it in 2005? And too much time has been lost. The games have already been canceled out to October. They're nowhere near an agreement. So too much time has been lost to even have a hopeful wish for the second half of the season, unfortunately.
All right, well, that's it for game time. That was pretty interesting by all of you. Great job. But we're going to send it off to our next segment now, which it will be talking about the Boston manager situation. So this should be interesting. So take it away.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Perez, and I'm here today with Clash of the Rams champ Mike McMahon and Jared Doherty. How are you guys today?
Good.
Doing good.
Good? Okay. And today we're here to discuss who the next manager of the Boston Red Sox could be. Mike, you want to start us off?
All right, well, they kicked off the interviewing last week. They interviewed Tim Wallach, and then they're scheduled to interview Brad Ausmus and Tony Pena. They're interviewing Tony Pena Jr. today, and I believe they're interviewing DeMarlo Hale this week as well. So they kicked off the interviewing a lot earlier than they did last year. I don't think they started until like almost Halloween last year, so it's a good sign that management's getting on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point right there, because last year I'm pretty sure they had like the manager meetings, and the Red Sox didn't even have one. They hired Bobby Valentine like 8 days or 2 weeks or whatever it was, like after. So that's just a good start so far. Actually looking forward early, getting that done. And then obviously just 4 guys. They have Pena, DeMarlo Hale, Wallach, and then Brad Ausmus. So we have the nice 4 guys, and then obviously John Farrell is in the talks. But I like the 4 guys they have so far.
Yeah, definitely. They haven't contacted John Farrell yet, which he's been the fan favorite so far for some reason. But they haven't contacted him, and then they haven't contacted Mike Maddox, who's also in the talks yet, which he was kind of like, I don't know, I see him as a far-fetched concept too. But they got guys that have, they had 2 third base coaches, and then a bench coach, Tony Pena,
Yankees bench coach.
Yeah, and then Hale is the third base coach for the Orioles, and then Wallach's third base coach for the Dodgers. Pena obviously had experience with the Red Sox, and so did Hale. Hale was Francona's bench coach back in 2011.
Yep, and then he was also third base coach as well, for like 4 years. I
Before
think he's been with Francona for for 6 years, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Francona left, yeah.
So, yeah, it looks like, they're interviewing some guys with Red Sox experience, which I don't necessarily like. I think it's time to go outside, completely outside. A lot of the guys, Farrell, of course, is the former pitching coach so, that's a reason why everybody's so high on him, which I don't really see why, because his managerial experience in Toronto hasn't really been that great. I mean, they haven't finished above 4th place, and they haven't finished above 500 either in his 2 seasons.
Yeah, the fans are looking at it like this. They're saying the big problem with the Red Sox is the pitching staff. Like you said, John Farrell, he was a great pitching coach for the Red Sox, but the Red Sox pitching staff is so bad right now. Yeah. When Farrell was with the Red Sox, they had a legitimate pitching staff. Right now, the team is so bad.
They don't have anyone.
They got rid of Beckett. They had, in 07 when Farrell was there, they had Beckett when he was in his prime. Now Beckett is gone. Beckett was like a cancer to this team.
Yeah.
Beckett was awful. They have, it's just terrible. They don't have starting pitching. Farrell's not going to come in and just make this pitching happen. It's not going to happen. The whole entire team is lacking everywhere.
Yeah.
This manager, even whoever they bring in, it's not going to help the pitching. It's not going to help the offense. This team is just in a huge hole right now. And so they need to find somebody. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you with the whole thing where the fact that bringing in Farrell is going to suddenly change the whole pitching staff around all the way. They need somebody who's going to bring in a new, fresh, positive energy who has kind of like, I don't know, I look at Osmus and I see him having so much inexperience almost as a positive thing. He's going to come in with a fresh experience, new time, new thing, kind of, he's kind of like the long shot underdog, and I kind of think that a manager like that would thrive on something. Like,
I know you said positive energy, because Bobby Valentine, negative energy from the start. I'm pretty sure spring training, the leader of the Red Sox, the dirt dog, Daveson Perez, that guy. Spring training, 2 weeks into spring training, was going to like higher up, like Lucchino and stuff, trying to get rid of Valentine. That's awful too.
Yeah.
That's just awful. Like, it's the entire total pole of the Red Sox from the beginning is Lucchino is awful. Then you go down to just the manager situation. I don't even think it'll have an effect on this team. This team has so many problems. And then when you go to the totem pole, the actual players, you just don't have leaders anymore. And, and the leader, Daveson Perez, the leader,
they definitely need to hire a guy who's going to be manager of the Red Sox, blank, whatever. When it was Bobby Valentine, it was Bobby Valentine, manager of the Boston Red Sox. Bobby Valentine was Bobby Valentine first before he was manager of the Red Sox. They need to stay away from something like that. They need to get a guy who's going to put the Red Sox before he puts himself.
And when you look at Tim Wallach, Don Mattingly is an incredible manager right now. And what he said about Wallach was that he has great communication skills. Something Bobby Valentine was dreadful with is when he was in front of a camera and his communication skills was awful to the media. But in that sense, I think his communication skills to the players was awful. Tim Wallach, it's been said that he has great communication skills, so maybe that could go a long way for that. That could be awesome for them.
All right, now, before we finish this, who do you guys think should be the next coach for the Red Sox? The next manager, sorry.
I think the next manager for the Red Sox, Tony Pena, the Yankees bench coach. I think he has a great job. I think he'll fit very nicely. I think he'll be a good one.
Okay, Mike?
I definitely think Tony Pena would be a good pick, but I like Brad Osmus. He's kind of the underdog. He's kind of, everybody, I think when everybody heard the name Brad Osmus, everybody was a little surprised, but he's a special assistant to the GM in San Diego, which you saw Mike Matheny, who was a former catcher, who was also a special assistant in St. Louis. He really thrived there. So I really think former catchers that have experience as special assistants to the GM, I think that might be the thing right now. And I like Brad Osmus, Connecticut guy, smart guy. I think he'd be the right choice.
I think a few years down the road, Jason Varitek.
All right, well, thank you guys. I'm Kimberly Perez here with Mike and Jared. Back to you, Jeremy.
All right, thank you, Kim. Now we're going to move on to our debate segment, which Daveson, you'll be moderating a debate between me and Ryan.
Gotcha.
So why don't you give us the question?
All right, you ready, guys?
I'm ready, yeah.
All right, the question is whether or not you guys believe David Ortiz should be re-signed to the Boston Red Sox.
All right, and I'll start. All right, here we go. So, I think it is a bad decision if they re-sign him. I think they just got to say, you know what, at first I just want to say he's an all-time Red Sox. I'll get that out of the way right now. But you need to learn to let go. And I think they definitely shouldn't sign him again next year.
I don't see why you would just let him go, because David Ortiz had the best batting average for this year since 2007. His best batting average, best on base percentage. So how can you just say let this guy go?
All right, honestly, it's because I don't think people are cutthroat enough in this league. I think like Jeter, like we were talking about earlier. I think you're willing to keep a guy that you love way too long. But this situation is different. We're signing to 1-year contracts. That's really messing with our entire salary because we're paying him. We definitely are paying him too much money for his age. I think that.
How is it messing up the salary though? Because David Ortiz is getting 1-year deals, and you got guys like Carl Crawford come in, make these $1 million deals, and over 10-year spans.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta spread it out. That's what I'm saying. If Ortiz,
but he's getting paid off his production. So if he is he has to do good. He's getting paid by every year.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, if he cared about the team, we've had crazy salary where people sign 20-year deals and it spreads out the money for him. That helps the team. He's not willing to help the team. Honestly, he wants to sign a 1-year deal. That way, I got hurt. I hardly played last year. I can play really well this year, and another team will give me a huge contract. That's basically what this is. I mean, that's just.
Ortiz also, he is getting older, so these one-year deals almost benefit the Red Sox. He's now like 37, I believe, 37, and and so it would benefit the Red Sox. You can get the most production out of him. He batted .318 this year, and he's
honestly,
on a low contract.
318, missed 70 games. What is the average mean?
All right. Well, in 2000, from 2009 on, Ortiz, the most he was injured during a season was 17 games.
I agree.
From 2009 on.
Which is
now
incredible.
This is 1 year. You have players all the time with bad luck. Like they'll get injury plagued and everything. So.
Time.
I felt short.
All right, that was a pretty even debate. What do you guys think, Ashley?
I'll go with Ryan.
What about you, Eric?
I am going to go with Ryan.
And folks, it's a clean sweep. I'm going to go with Ryan as well.
I even get to the best conversation. Okay, good debate though. That was really good.
Yeah.
That's what your second one.
Yes,
of all time. Very good.
Congratulations. Brand last IBM so bad.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna move on to our final segment, which is our Ram rant. So, are you sure you can Ram rant after that win? You ready?
Yep.
All right.
Ready.
So start us off.
My Ram rant is on the Nationals blowing the game versus the Cardinals. I know it was a few days ago, but it was just sad to see because it's been a great season for teams like the Nationals, the A's, the Orioles. It's been amazing to see, and then they all kind of came down to losing, and it was. And I also didn't understand how the manager could just sit there. And I know that in a Game 7 that you change the starting pitchers very often if they give up runs. So where's it going to start with the closers? When the closers start giving up runs and giving up bases, where are we going to replace the closers? Because he blew it against the Cardinals, and that should have never happened.
All right, Daveson?
Now, we all know that Joe Girardi was heated last night about the instant replay, blaming the instant replay for their loss when clearly they didn't put any runs on the board. That's number one. And number two is just the idea of adding replay. I just think it's bogus. Like, it's just going to make the game longer than it already is. Fans already hate watching baseball games on TV because it's 3 to 4 hours long. And then the fact that you're going to have instant replay is going to prolong the game even more. I mean, why not just leave it the way it is with debating home runs with instant replay, and just how they're going to improve it even more with foul line drives down the foul lines, and etc. Just leave it at that. I mean, it's just, they pay the umpire a significant amount of money to make the calls when they matter, and if they mess up, then I mean, I'm not saying fire them, but like you got to train these guys better.
All right. For my Ram rant, it's actually about me. Surprisingly, I have been labeled a LeBron James hater. Now, what that exactly? Now, what people think with that? For me being an objective reporter, not kneeling down to a guy winning one championship, I don't think he's the worst player in the league. He's not one of the best of all time. And I honestly think I should have beat Brandon Crosby last year in the debate. So I'm calling Brandon Crosby out right now. If you want to come back next week and rematch me in the debate, if you're man enough, because I will destroy you in the debate.
All right.
And to one up you, because I'm so confident that what I'm saying that he's not one of the best of all time yet. I will take on Mike McMahon, the champion, too, both of them against me next week if they're man enough to do it, and I'll beat them both. Eric?
All right.
I don't know how to follow that up.
Yeah.
I'm calling out somebody too, the Washington Nationals. I hope they're happy that they're sitting at home now. Steven Strasburg sat on the bench the whole playoffs. What were they thinking? They're number one, their ace, one of the best pitchers in the league. They totally mishandled the situation from the start. You have your ace pitcher and you're going to sit him out because you don't want him to throw too many innings and maybe cost you a chance to go to the World Series. It's just crazy. I just don't understand how you could jeopardize your season by not planning ahead. Before the season, you would think the Nationals front office would say, okay, if we get to mid-season and we're in this thing, we have to figure out a plan to have Strasburg available for the playoffs. And they didn't do it. And they cost themselves a spot in the playoffs. They went to Game 5. They blew it. maybe Strasburg would have made a difference.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the NHL lockout and why it's so devastating coming out of the huge momentum they had from last year. In the past 7 years, since the 2005 CBA, there's been 7 different teams to win the Stanley Cup, and 3 of them being small market teams, Los Angeles, Carolina, Anaheim, 2 being the original 6 teams, which hadn't run. Chicago hadn't won in 49 years, Boston hadn't won in 39 years, and 2 being Pittsburgh and Detroit, which are huge teams. Last year, they made a record high of $3.3 billion NHL and finally distinguished themselves amongst the 3 other major leagues in the United States, and I think that it's just going to stunt the growth of the NHL with this lockout.
All right. So I guess that's it, right, guys?
Yes, it is.
All right.
All right. This is from Studio 73. We'll see you guys next week.